Story 1. How to get rid of fear of death. Once a young man went to his master and said, "Master, I have fear of death. How can I get rid of this fear?" Master asked, "Okay, tell me, when you borrow some coins from someone, then you must be afraid of giving them back too." Young man replied, "Of course not. I will not be afraid of returning back. After all, that coins belong to their property only." Young man didn't understand. Why did his master ask such question from him at this point? So he inquired, "But master, what does this question have to do with my fear?" To explain young man's fear, his master picked up some soil from ground and said, "You are made from dust. You have received your body in debt with required return. With every bite of bread and every sip of water drank by you, you increase the debt. Dust is the main creditor, that constantly reminding you of this debt." Master threw that soil into air and asked young man to see what happened to that soil. When he throws in air, that soil instantly fell down back into the ground. Now master explained, no matter how high you rise, how long you are in flight, in end you still need to fall down. Ground will swallow your whole body without any remains. So try to cope up with this fear as master of your body. Stop thinking about yourself and accept the truth that you are just a tenant. Because you don't know the length of your rent, always remember this fact that it can end at any second. We are all debtors, and in end our debts will certainly be recovered, no matter if we are afraid or not. Master smiled and continued, "So tell me, is there a point of being afraid of being feared?" Moral of the story. Our life is small and we need to understand that no one can live forever. So if we want to live life, then we should try to accept death as we accept life. Story 2. 3 questions about God. One day in kingdom court, Akbar said to Birbal, "Give him answer for 3 questions." After listening questions, Birbal thought for a while and then replied, he will answer those questions next day in court. Birbal reached home. He was very sad. When his son saw his dad sad, he anxiously asked the reason for his sadness. Birbal elaborated the questions asked by Akbar in court to his son and said that he was not able to answer today, but have to answer them tomorrow in court. After knowing question, Birbal's son asked his father to take him to court next day. Next day Birbal took his son with him in court. Akbar asked his answers from Birbal. Birbal replied, "Even my son knows the answer, and he is willing to answer those questions for him." Akbar asked first question, "Where does God live?" Birbal's son replied, "Before answering this question, I request you to order a glass of milk with sugar mixed in it." After milk was bought in court, Birbal's son asked the king to have that milk and tell everyone how does it taste. Akbar tasted milk and said, "It's sweet." Birbal's son questioned, "Sir, you must see sugar in this milk." Akbar replied, "No, it's already dissolved in milk." Kid said, "Here is the answer of your first question, like we can't see dissolved sugar in milk. Similarly, God is in everything of this world but we can't see it." Akbar asked second question, "How can we reach God?" Before I answer this question, I request you to again order some milk cream to be brought in court." After milk cream was brought in court, Birbal's son said, "Your Highness, can you see any butter in it?" Akbar replied, "Butter is there, but we can see it also once we stir this milk cream." Birbal's son said, "Here is the answer of your second question, Your Highness. Similarly, God can be seen on finding our true inner self." Now, Akbar asked him third question, "What does God do?" Birbal's son said to king that before he answered this question, king have to accept him as his master. King smiled and accepted him as his master. Birbal's son said, "Your Highness, you know that master always sit on higher pedestal and disciple on lower." Akbar understood and left his throne for kid and he himself sat down on the floor. Birbal's son said, "Your Highness, this is answer of your last question." Akbar was confused and said, "I don't understand what you want to say." Birbal's son replied, "Your Highness, this is what God do. God can change any situation. In a moment he make king the beggar and servant the emperor. Moral of the story. God is everywhere, can be found by looking around. It has also the power to change any situation. Story 3. Comparing ourselves with others. Once, a samurai went to visit a Zen monk to seek some advice. As he entered the temple, where masters were praying, seeing this, he felt inferior. And felt that, in spite of having fought for justice and peace, he hadn't even come near state of grace which was achieved by monks praying there. As monk finished prayers, he went to him and said, I have faced death many times, defended weak, helped people in need, and I know I have never done anything to be ashamed of. Yet, when I see you meditating, I feel like my life have no importance, and I feel so inferior. Monk replied, Okay, I will answer you. Once I attend all those who came to see me, wait till then. Samurai waited for whole day, watching people go in and out for advice. He saw that monk received all of them with patience and smile on his face. At nightfall, when everyone was gone, he went to monk and said, Can you teach me now? Monk invited him inside and led him to his room. The full moon shone in the sky, and the atmosphere was one of profound tranquility. Monk pointed towards moon and said, Do you see moon? It will cross the entire firmament and tomorrow the sun will shine once again. But do you know, sunlight is brighter and it shows us the details of nature. Monk asked, Why I don't shine like sun? Is it because I am inferior to sun? Samurai answered, Of course not. They both are too different and have their own beauty. You cannot compare the two. Here is your answer. We are two different people, and we each are fighting in our own way for what he believes, making it possible for the world to a better place. Moral of story. Just because others choose different path, we should not compare ourselves in feel of inferiority. Everyone have to follow their own path in their life to be a better person and making world a better place.